RyuGe is here. Let's do it.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Spright, special summon the blue alongside the red, searching for the carrots. We're going to be waiting with the ash onto, what the heck? We actually just went right into Fiendsmith. We have carrot. Oh, we're going to use this right away, which could be negated by the Spright carrot. Now, the carrot is going to be able to negate a spell trap. The elf is going to be able to reborn the orange, the red. Where is it at? Red to then be able to negate a monster effect. We have Masquerina, which could link off into a Little Knight Double Banish. We have Impermanence to negate a monster, Veiler to negate a monster. About 6 forms of disruption. Now, by firing this off as soon as we can, we know that they're going to be forced with the difficult decision with the carrot that they now have to tribute off the elf or Masquerina before you gave them time to get another level 2 on the field to tribute off instead. We're going to just chain starter to it. This will be searching our deck. This is a searcher. Add a RyuGe monster from the deck to our hand. Got the red right there. Hakva. What the heck? Hakva is going to be banishing. Going to chain elf, reborn the blue. Blue will be searching on special summon. No extra forms of disruption have been added here. Now, this is kind of a floodgate. Any monster sent from the field to the graveyard is banished instead. And also, this card's quite interesting. You can negate your opponent's card or effect activated in response to the activation of an RyuGe spell card or effect, then destroy this card. So if we properly read this card, what would our play be? Our play would be not on the activation of the Mistva, but on the resolution to now activate Masquerina, to now Little Knight, to now banish the Mistva before it activates the Search the Field spell. Or you could do the same thing in response to the resolution of the field spell, and that would completely play around this card. Just do not chain to their activation. Diagnose? How do you know? What the? I just told you the play. Little Knight, banish away the Mistva, and scoop. Yeah, that's it. That's what the RyuGe does. Not sure why we're playing this. What is this good for? Banish this card from the graveyard, special summon from your hand or deck, 1 level 7 or lower, dragon normal and face up. What? What is this good for? If you battle a fire that does nothing. So what's the Carbonet in play? Grab a Kaiba. Kaiba's not going to really be doing anything here. During your main phase, add, then you could, okay. Put an RyuGe Pendulum from your hand to your face up extra, sure. So they activate in response. We then activate the other effect to get a form of disruption, which was to set the trap from the deck face up, that is. So we tried to grab this, which got negated. This states that you would be able to destroy a card on the field. Where is it? Target one monster on the field and destroy it. So that unfortunately got negated. Okay. Activate the red negate. No set face up with the trap. And that was the best we had, unfortunately. Everything in attack position. We have Mosquito. Mosquito's lethal damage with the Hakva if you have 4 monsters. First monster sets the counter. Hakva has an effect. You up, mate? What are we activating? You're going to reduce a monster attack to 0. That doesn't matter. We're just going to imperm anyway. Imperm, negate. You, ideally, if we cared about this effect, which we don't, you activate the effect in the damage step. That is when you want to use it. Where you can't imperm. And you can damage step that effect. It does change the attack and defense. So we got the counter, and then you just attack 3 more times. Attack number 1. Attack number 2. Attack number 3. Lethal damage. There you go. It's kind of like Yubel, but how you calculate Yubel, you just need an additional monster here. Well, technically you'd have 3 Yubels to lethal here. In this instance, it's 5 bodies because you need the 2 bodies to make a Mosquito, apply the counter, or another monster could apply the counter with attacking, and then 3 other bodies, so 5 total for that lethal damage at 3,000 attack. Let's hop into another duel. The Mosquito is a reason why I believe Spright has a really good play going second against Maxi or Fulos. You take that challenge if you identify that you have lethal with Mosquito. What? You switch your deck. This is a Sword Soul deck now. What the heck? Okay, we have Ash. Sword Soul Emergence, grab for the deck our Mo Yi. Mo Yi reveal a Sword Soul Taya to then summon a token onto the field, synchro into the Chick-Chow. This will be chain link blocked by the Mo Yi drawing a card here, as we're likely going to be searching for what? The Long Yun? We Long Yun it up? Yep. Long Yun for level 10 synchro. None of this is ashable. So we're so used to having these immensely effective Ash Blossom effects on anyone that's potentially summoning cards in the deck and all this nonsense, but against Sword Soul, just simply negating the emergence was the correct play. Which you normally do not want to be ashing an effect that just searches. We have, with the Grandmaster, a monster negate, Baron to floor negate anything, draw Lockbird, no more adding. We could combo the Grave Finger, a card in grave. The RyuGe end is dead. Yeah, that does nothing. We got a brick in the back row. Grab a Tract, draw Lockbird. This is a great draw. Against Fiendsmith, the only good time to draw is Engraver adding Tract. Beautiful. So we're now down to 3 more forms of disruption. Beaver summon from the deck and Angler. You also have the Millennium Senjin from the back row summoning itself onto the field. As we now turn this into a Nightmare Phoenix on summon, pop a card in the back row. Going for that Call of the Grave, we're going to Grandmaster negate the Phoenix. Wow, we're really protecting that called by. We want to be ready to finger the Engraver, not that it's activatable right now, or finger the Angler. Real. I activate an effect to +2 bodies on the field, and that wasn't good enough for you to finger? What do I got to do to get your finger? Gigantic Spright. 3,200. Wow. Just big enough to Baron to floor negate. Not even used, mate. And there we go. We held our finger. As the Requiem's going to summon for the deck, we could finger the Requiem, which will be a good play here. Instead of fingering the Engraver, got him, then they're going to be able to Reborn. Remember, we haven't even used the effect of Gigantic Spright, which would lock us into level link or rank 2 monsters only. We want to make sure that is last. What is this doing? Summon onto the field and do nothing? Summon. If this card's summoned, you can target 1 card on the field zone and do something with it. Okay, cool. Gigantic Spright, we're now locked into level 2 monsters as we go into Little Knight. Little Knight on summon. Let's banish away the Grandmaster. And the turn on Little Knight Ash. Double disruption. We have no Lacrima Crimson Tier play. Goodbye to the Little Knight. We're now down to just the Ash Blossom. Taya banished from Engrave. The Sword Soul Emergence. Summon a token onto the field here. Come forth into Chick-Chow, which will trigger on summon. Chainlink blocked by the Taya to send a card from the deck to the grave. Thus, you can't Ash Blossom this. As we search our deck for a Sword Soul card, Long Yun would have been good if we could have discarded this Carbonettin, but we can't. Ash negate. And that is what the Ash should have been used on their initial first turn. Now, here's the thing, though. Should you be Ashing Emergence against Marco? No, in turn 1, because it's an RyuGe deck. RyuGe, their main card, their field spell, summons a bunch of bodies onto the field. That's ashable, and if you ash that effect, they're pretty much done. So this is bait if it were the turn 1, but we know we're in a simplified game state. We know they're not going to the RyuGe plays, thus only now it's good to ash. If it were pure Sword Soul, then yeah, ashing Emergence could just in general be good. Fiendsmith Tract, search our deck for the Lurie, Reborn the Lurie. We have Grandmaster, which will just negate a monster on the field. Beyond that, we don't really, unless you count the Typhon Floodgate as doing something. Lacrima is here. Reduce the opposing field of monsters by 600 attack. We're going to negate the Fiendsmith Lacrima from reborning a banished or engraved monster. Now we're going to summon a blackout token on the field, but we are now at 0 disrupt sequence, ready to fuse to the graveyard, burn for 1200 with our Lacrima being sent to the grave. Engraver reborn by returning back in the extra deck. We're now going to go into Spright Elf. We're going to use the sequence equipping onto the Engraver to send to the grave to get rid of the Typhon. And now we're going to Elf, reborn the blue on summon, search our deck for the Jet. I got to play this deck. I know a lot of people were on pure Spright, but Spright Fiendsmith seems interesting. So, what I say for lethal damage, you need 5 bodies. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bodies. 2,800 times 3 is lethal damage. There you go. You apply the counter with the first attack. The other 3 attacks will now be inflicting 28, 28, 28, mate. Lethal damage back to back with the Mosquito lethal play. I am loving it. Let's go. Nice. All right, let's go. Maxi in our draw phase. What the heck? Earl's thinking, okay, I'm going to Full Loss you. That's what you want to be thinking. And this is why you only want to Maxi or Full Loss at the start of their turn if you like your hand. And Timeless does like his hand, so it's fine. Because otherwise you have the situation where they're just going to Full Loss you back. And then you also want to potentially think, in addition to that, do I like my hand, but can I also deal with the Full Loss? So you maybe want to wait for them to commit at least one body on the field. That's another thing to take into consideration. While you're playing around my Full Loss by summoning from the graveyard, thus I don't draw, how about I toss in a Maxi? And I still can throw in a second Full Loss if you try to summon from the deck or extra deck. We're going to throw that Full Loss back in the deck as if we do intend to summon from the deck or extra deck here, which would result in draw 2. Gaddock under Maxi, draw a card on summon. We're going to add back. Now remember, this is turn 2, so we could be thinking about lethal damage here. Not knowing that newly drawn Nibiru, we looked at their hand, so we don't know about this. This is private knowledge. Lacrima Reborn, if we allow this to be turned into a Caesar, then it's big trouble. So let's see if Caesar's even being played in their extra deck. It is. Once we whip out the Caesar, we're going to be playing around Nibiru, thus Nibiru the fields. We can't risk it. Wipe it up. Lacrima Burn for the 1200. We're going to Memento Fusion using the graveyard, hand, or field. Creation King. On summon, we're going to send from the deck an extra deck to the graveyard, up to 3 cards. We're going to be searching for the field spell. We're now going to Memento Fusion, pop our token, grab the Bone Party. We're going to use Creation King to pop itself, plus the Nibiru, trigger the field spell, reborn a monster smaller than the Creation King, which will be our Anguish, which will on summon search our deck for the Sleepy. Sleepy special summonable. If a monster is destroyed this turn, on summon, fuse it up into our Twin Dragon, pop ourselves to search for 2 cards. We're going for a deck out, 26 cards left in the deck. Maybe we should not have returned the Full Loss back and we just allowed them to draw 3 per summon. We have the Horned Dragon, 3650 on the field. Not enough, obviously. Acheron can now attack directly over Bestials. So that's another thing that they don't have to worry about taking the Maxi challenge is if you try to block their monster's attack. Apollo USA to now block any potential other hand traps here. Can we set up lethal damage? We have 8,000 if Apollo negates nothing. All right, that's the final summon. Let's see the hand. Can't stop, won't stop. 20 cards in our hand, can't stop. Okay, Imperm on Apollo and we don't lose. Nope, not even a Veiler. Veiler or Imperm and well, that would then trigger the Creation King to summon another body onto the field. I think we lost no matter what because Creation King states that Combined Creation. Konami, can I read the freaking card? It says that if your opponent activates an Imperm or Veiler onto the Apollo, you could then special summon your 3,000 attack Creation King onto the field, 8,000 damage alongside the Combined Creation. Even if you summon a Bestial, our Combined Creation and Creation King at 8,000 can attack right over the Bestial. So it's actually very safe to take the Maxi challenge with Memento, as long as you deal it Nibiru. Wedju Temple. This is an ashable effect. We're not going to be ashing that. As we grab a Golem from the deck. Why would Millennium be played in this deck? Well, it's going to be good for the Zombie Vampire. Zombie Vampire mill 4 cards from both players' decks. Crystron enjoys having cards in their graveyard. Thus, ashing this is a great idea. And now we pass, right? Can we normal summon this, actually? On normal summon. Yup, damn, that's great. Normal summon, trigger the effect to send 2 cards from the deck to the grave. We have Smiger searching for the Crystron Inclusion, which will search our deck for a monster. We have Thisvern, which will also be searching our deck for a monster. Activate, search our deck mate for the Crystron Cluster. Let's Sulfaneer, discard the cluster here, summon itself, pop itself, summon the level 2 from the deck, then go into the level 7 Synchro. With the level 7 Synchro on summon, we're going to add the trap back to our hand likely. This will give us the ability to pop 1 to 2 face-up cards in the field. This is the Ash. There was a lot of ashable effects here, but this effect is destroy, and if you do, special summon 2 Crystrons. So what we're gonna have here is we're gonna have 3 bodies on the field, and of course you'd want to negate that, right? Now, what about the other card? I would say this card is the Valor or Imperm. Valor, Imperm, them sending 2 cards in the deck to the grave, and I think it's possibly best to hold the Ash for the play that's happening right now. Because then this triggers, Reborns, 3 bodies on the field. How's that not a good Ash? Let's now Reborn the Sulfador from the graveyard here. This is not when you Nibiru. You have to Nibiru when they have 2 level 5 mon. I'm sorry if I'm teaching people how to beat Crystron here, but this says if this in your possession is sent to the graveyard by a Nibiru or any card effect, you then special summon your Omni Negate. So you gotta do it before they make the Nova. And then obviously this would be a negate on the Nibiru itself. Now, let's talk about this field and how interesting it is. We have the negate with the Infinity, which is going to be able to negate anything, obviously. And then we have the cluster, which could pop 1 to 2 cards in the field that's face up. We have Droll, stop them from adding from the deck. We do have Sitri, which has to synchro with the monster at Reborn from the grave, which Sitri will likely go into a Dragster. Dragster will be a spell and trap card negate, and it's only activatable in the main phase or battle phase. Thus, within the battle phase or even in the draw phase, try to activate a spell or trap card before they could even activate this. You have player priority to activate the first card before the Sitri could set up the Dragster to then get negating. And then the Tristaros can, with a level 5 Dragster, once it negates, it could go into Aquarion Quandrax, which will be able to banish multiple monsters on the field and graveyard. It's going to be 3 cards, I believe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 disruption. Plus Maxi. Come forth, Memento Horse. And now Citri's gonna go into the Dragster. Reborn, Dragster, spell and trap card negates. Horsey has to pop a Memento to then send the level up to the level of monsters that equal up to that from the deck to the graveyard. So what we could do is we could Bone Party summon an Acheron, which would be a level 5, or the Horn Dragon, something big, so that the horse will still be able to pop something. Looks like we're potentially doing that. And the Dragster says, no, you're not. What are you thinking, mate? We're gonna Goblin Biker Grand Breakout, which will tribute off to then summon for the deck a Goblin, which will get popped for level 1. Did we mess up the order here? If we Grand Biker, they Dragster, negate, then we chain Bone Party, pop the horse in our hand to summon something bigger, then we could send 3 to 4 cards in the deck to the graveyard. I think that should have potentially been the play instead. But I don't know if Infinity would have been negating. I mean, they have Infinity negate whenever they want, mate. What are we really gonna do? Crystron too much in game number 2. That was a turn. We have pop multiple cards in the field, negate 3 monster effects, negate 2 special summon effects. We have Anguish in the graveyard, probably. Yup. Anguish Reborn, search for mace, take control of a monster. It's about 7 forms of disruption. DK told me Fool Lost keeps your deck in check, so I Fool Lost you, but then you drolled yourself, so what happened to the check? Stand-up Centurion, discard Nibiru, set up into the back row, Trudea, chain Maxi to the Trudea. We got Call by the Grave to finger and negate that Maxi. How's Centurion in the Spicy Room? It's round 2. So both of these players defeated the Spicy players. That's why I questioned if we wanted to watch this or not. So there you go. The Spicy players are gone. Usually what happens when you're Spicy, you mostly probably lose round 1. Not your fault, it's the deck, obviously. Let's summon a level 8. Come forth, Auxilla, mate. Search our deck for the Phalanx, Emblem of Oath, into the Atri. Atri summon, draw a card. We are gonna be banishing the spell to set up the Phalanx here. And let's talk about our disruptions. I would consider Druisword potentially a good disruption against Memento here. We also have the Phalanx, which will banish a monster. We then go into a Synchro to disrupt them, about triple disruption. We got the horse. We're going to banish the horse before it even activates. We're going to Bone Party, pop the horse. We can't summon another horse off the Bone Party. It's got to be a different monster. As we summon the Anguish instead, which could search another horse, but the horse already activated its hard once returned to summon itself onto the field. We're going to search a Sleepy with the Anguish, trigger the field spell, Synchro into a Crimson Dragon. Crimson Dragon is going to be turning itself into a Cosmic Blazar to negate anything. Do we negate the Sleepy? No. Do we negate the Sleepy? Yes. So no, then yes. So we want to make sure we get rid of the hard once return effect of attempting a fusion summon. Negate and destroy. We now have Druisword. Sleepy sent a card from the deck to the grave. We have Memento Fusion, which could pop a monster to search our deck for a Memento card. We have the Goblin popping itself to summon the Gaddock. Gaddock is when you Bestial. Oh my god, it summons and it adds in the grave. You lose all of that by banishing the Gaddock. Got him. And 1-for-1 is dead if we don't have a monster to discard. We're going to Anguish, pop itself, Reborn the Mace. Mace is going to be searching our deck for an Acheron to be discarding with the 1-for-1. Get rid of the Acheron, summon from the deck a Goblin. So I'm just trying to think, Bestial on Gaddock or Bestial on the Anguish, reborning a Mace. Gaddock is a very good Bestial, but a player that's not able to adopt and adapt to playing through disruption, it may be better to hit the Mace instead, as maybe they're shoehorning themselves into being more dependent on the Mace. If you feel like they really are digging for a Memento Fusion and they don't already have one engraved to pop and search for one, then banishing the Mace could potentially just be better. Let's return 5 cards in hand and engrave back in the deck to come forth and summon our Combined Creation. Combined Creation is here. What? Wait, there's monsters? Nope. Okay, we're attacking right over them. That's what the Acheron do. That's Acheron, mate. Is that even under the lingering effects? Where's the Acheron effect? Level 9 or higher mementos can attack directly, and for some reason, they did not make Creation King 2900 attack. They did it on purpose. What the? Perfect 8,000. Libellion. Search for Magna Hunt. We have negate anything plus synchro into potentially another negate anything. We also have, it's a triple disruption plus a Baldrake banish, and then the Baldrake secondary banish. So the ceiling, I'd say, is about 5 forms of disruption. Anguish on summon, searching for the horse. Now, when we're talking about disrupting Memento, the Sleepy is waiting for a Memento to be destroyed before it could even be special summonable from the hand, which could then go into a fusion summon. But we have 2 forms of extensions. We could extend with the Goblin Biker playthrough disruption. We could extend with the Bone Party. Double extension plus a core combo play. What are we stopping? What do we stop? Let's reborn the Magna Hunt. Magna Hunt activate to search for a dragon during the end phase. We're going to use the horse. We're just going to chain Borreload to negate the activation, which does not destroy, does not banish, it just stays in the field. Your hard once return effect has been used up. We're now going to Grand Breakout, attempt to summon a goblin from the deck onto the field. Our 1 form of extension has now been negated, and they've already used up Borreload and also their Cosmic Blazar, so we still have Bone Party to keep on going. Can they stop the Bone Party play? If we summon from the extra deck, the Baldrake's going to be able to potentially banish. Whatever they summon with the field spell could potentially just stop the Bone Party. Baron to floor. We had a play, an extension, but they have Omni Negate, Omni Negate, Omni Negate. So 1 play 2 extension, 3 Omni Negate, used exactly for all 3. Negate, but then we have the Sleepy mate. So the Sleepy was literally not summonable if we negated the Bone Party instead. The Bone Party was the first instance of a Memento being destroyed, so I think that the Baron de Fleur should not have negated the Goblin Summon, instead negate the Bone Party. It checks for a Memento monster being destroyed. A monster in your possession destroyed. Let's reborn the Goblin and pop in the Sleepy, send from the deck a combined creation. Is now going to Little Knight, which will not be banishing on summon. Let's do it. Come forth and summon into combined creation. This should be a Donner, Dampa, what the heck's it called? I think it's called Donner. Donner for hire. Why? Because it gets itself off the field. When it's off the field and combined creation is alone, we gain this additional effect and used alongside the Bone Party secondary effect, which states, you banish this card from the grave, target your combined creation. If it attacks a defense position monster, it inflicts piercing battle damage, and the combined creation states only while you control no other monsters. Now, of course, we can Little Knight swing in, kill itself, and still have that effect, which the Donner for hire is possibly getting rid of a monster that we could just attack over. So this is actually perfectly fine. We have 5,000, attack everything, and piercing battle damage. Let's go. We're doing it. We are doing it. Kill Little Knight. Woo! Oh my Jesus. Piercing for 3K. Piercing for 2K. 2K over the Baron de Fleur. Lethal damage. We saw back-to-back 2 different unique win conditions. Creation King combined attacking directly with the effect of Acheron, or combined by itself, given the effect of piercing battle damage, being able to attack in every single body on the field. Love it.